if you just Brave countered. I like it. The 6-6M, and yeah, I mean, I know you're trying to beta. So now seeing that you do follow it up sometimes. I assume this is you trying to bait a DP. I mean, like, do you really care if they hit you with a DP in the mid screen here? Right? Like, it's not like you're not really losing that much. I understand that this Vira is relatively DP happy. Like, you basically just like give up your turn here, and then I assume that was a start with 2U, so I assume there's a misinput. You meant to 2H, but I'm not so certain you need to be respecting their DP all that much, because that is kind of like, you have to think the end goal of a DP is not really to get, like, it's, yes, obviously DPs are nice to get you out of bad situations, right? When you just like don't feel comfortable blocking, but like the mental end goal of a character with a DP is to get you to do exactly this, right? Which is like, they don't even have to DP anymore. You just respect it and give up your turn for them. So now they don't even have to take the risk on. If your Nightmare comes true and you run up and you close L them, they DP you, nothing happens here. You just get sent back to round start, right? All right, folks, we are back for more Granblue Fantasy versus Rising action for you here, and we have some more replay review. Just a little bit of more replay review right here. This is, again, you know, disclaimer. This is from what's the 7th month of the year again? This is July. I think that's July. It's July 30th. So that is still a good 20 days before the patch dropped. Yes, hello YouTube, indeed. If you want to learn how to play Zeta, use your ult moves and neutrals. That's what I want to talk about, actually, in the sense that this is a replay. This is Scar here playing some Zeta against Zeta. He's asking about advice against really like neutral and footsies heavy characters and how to play against them as Zeta, right? So important thing to note is that Zeta is, to my understanding, a very different character post-patch, right? And this is obviously, this gameplay is pre-patch Zeta, but I don't think she's gonna be too different in like the fundamentals necessarily. I think it's more so just she has some new mid-screen combos. She has like some new like Oki setups to let her get like a fuzzy every time off of Pogo, but apparently it's very, very difficult to do consistently, so probably not even that good of advice unless you're talking about like master rank or something. And her ult skills are, while still good, right, a lot worse. They do a lot less damage and, you know, all that good stuff. So I don't think it should change too meaningfully in the way of like advice. You know what I mean? I can double check the patch notes for Zeta on the side here and just see if there's anything that I'm forgetting about, but I don't think so. I don't think they like made, you know, oh, like, you know, this button is like 7 times bigger and therefore it should now be the only thing that you use in neutral against Zeta or something. I don't think that's the case, but I guess let me real quick actually double check that to make sure that I'm not spreading misinformation on the internet. My favorite pastime. Where's this Zeta lady? I mean, her JH is bigger forward in front of her, right? But her box is also bigger. Yeah, I don't really think so. Yep. Sure. All right, yeah. So we'll keep it the same. So let's see. This is a 7-minute replay. So in theory, that means that should be roughly one video, right? Only like a 30-minute video or something. Let me move myself roughly maybe over here, and I'll where are those chat guys? Oh, I can't. Oh, there you go. Whee! I'll bring them over here too. Perfect. All right. So let's go. Okay. So talking about. Wait, this is. He said struggling against Zeta. Oh, is this multiple? I guess it's multiple games then, huh? Because this is. Am I losing my mind? This replay is entirely Vira. Wait, am I? Have I been bamboozled? I was really struggling with Zeta here, so I guess he meant. Oh, that was the Vira matches. You know, it's even worse. Again, advice still preach. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so he uploaded the wrong thing. Similar idea, though. If he's struggling with characters who, like, you know, very neutral, heavy, like, footsies-based characters, then Vira is gonna fit that bill just as much as Zeta, if not more, after the patch, too, right? What with her having her walk speed increased, right? She's even better at shimming you than she used to be. So, again, as we always talk about, right? We have the concept of the attacker and the defender in these different matchups. It's a little bit hard to say, actually. I mean, Zeta has like a fireball, right? And Zeta does get a lot of reward off of stray hits. Vira is trying to get on your face and, like, you know, mash on you, get plus frames, right? Put you in that Scarlet Oath versus command grab mix, all of that. So, like, maybe there is some merit to playing Zeta defensively here, but I don't think there's necessarily like a gigantic gap between these characters and like how good their buttons are or mid-screen is or something, to the point that one of them might really want to hold back and like zone the other one out, right? Or just play a bit of a slower game, a bit more of a keep-out game. But just the fact that, you know, you have a projectile. I mean, Luminaria exists, I guess, but Luminaria is not exactly a projectile to win you zoning wars, right? It won't even reach you from most distances if you're far away enough, right, depending on the version used. So, like, just the fact that Zeta has a projectile in the first place here means, like, maybe there's, you know, there's some, not all the time, but at some points, maybe a good idea to switch up your tempo a bit, try to get some space from the Vira, right, and play a little bit more patiently. But instead, you know, round start, our best, sure. we always talk about right, the best times when you're, if you don't have a clear idea of what you did wrong, the best times to pause a replay are when you are when you lose your turn, when you get hits, right? This is just a whiff throw. You got hit here, so sure, you walked up, you were a little too excited, you whiffed your throw. There's nothing too spectacular to write home about there. Nice 2H. No conversion off of it. I mean, we're talking about S1 right here, so don't worry about it too much, but still, be nice to try and figure out some sort of anti-air combo right there. I mean, if you want to, if you're, I guess specifically too, if you're trying to figure out like how to play the neutral, right, the footsies game against these very neutral-based characters, if they can just jump at you for basically no risk, you can't even play the video game. You can't even start to play that, like, you know, the spacing and whiff punishing and the rock paper scissors of neutral. If they can just skip the whole thing by jumping at you, and I mean, yeah, you 2H them, but if that's all that, if all that happens is they lose, you know, 800, 900 life, and I mean in this case get put in the corner too. But in general, I would say, like, you know, working on a bit more of a scary anti-air combo is not a bad idea. Real question, how do you yap this much without breaks? I've yapped for 6 hours today. My god, it's hard. Any tips? I mean, I think the longer you do it, the easier it gets, right? Like, I always, like, just, you know, a beautiful good evening, Mr. Streamer Man. Hello, Scully. To be honest, like, this is not really, it's kind of off topic, so I'm going to try and get quick on this, but it's not really labbing, it's practice, right? Like, I from the day I was born, have been an autistic info dumper, and I just talk a lot, and I've been surrounded by people who are nice enough or like me enough to let me keep doing it. So just like baseline, I already, you know, I have a lot of experience even before doing this, and now, for the past, you know, 7 or 8 months, I've been, yeah, I mean, I've been speaking for several hours a day, you know, continuously at very high words per minute, so... Like, I mentioned when I went out to karaoke with one of my friends, right, that this, like, where normally I would have lost my voice, I feel like I've gained resilience from just doing this for 8 months, right? So it is just a matter of do it a lot, and it gets easier, I think. Anyways, working on an anti-air combo a little bit, not so bad. This pogo stuff is probably would have been different post-patch now, so we're out, you know, no worries, but you just dropped your conversion here, I guess? Yeah, so I guess you're minus after this, or what exactly did you try to hit here? Because I would have, like, even though, I mean, this is like, you know, this some recovery on this Arvest move, I would imagine you might have still been plus here. No, you weren't. Yeah. So yeah, that's just not a good setup then. Fair enough. I imagine that was a drop more than anything, but even if that was an attempt at like a reset or something, you're just not plus there. I mean, I like the use of the U skill right here, immediately, right? It didn't hit, but I do like the idea of frame yaps. Yeah, lab your frame yaps. I do like the use of the U skill here, just again, to represent the option, right? Even though this didn't hit right here, now, you know, this Vira has to be a little bit more careful about necessarily just coming out there and doing all this crazy stuff in neutral. If she spot dodged, you would have got hit by the fairy. True. Well, Luminera, some versions of Luminera don't go full screen, right? Which one is it again? I always forget light M or I mean, yeah, from that distance she wouldn't really have gotten much anyway. But it's light, medium, and heavy. They all did the H version. True. Regardless, I do still like the idea here of throwing out the U skill. I don't think you. Well, I guess, yeah, I guess you did have the time to react to Luminera. Regardless, though, I do like the idea of throwing it out just to represent the option and hold the space a little bit, right? Against the Vira. Because that is one of the, I mean, especially pre-patch, not quite so much post-patch, but still, right? It's still the case. Where, like, you do kind of, when Vira has those use skills, you do have to respect it, right? And you have to put the fear of God in your opponent by at least showing them that you're willing to use them before they actually will respect it. So even if right there, you know, you might have been a bit risky against Luminera, the general idea of, like, I have meter, I want to throw out U-skill is not a bad idea, I don't think. Okay, you didn't drop that combo there, you got the first round. I mean, this doesn't look awful so far. I don't feel like you're getting, like, horribly out-footsied or something. I mean, you just kind of got meaty 6xm right there, happens to the best of us. Rare pre-patch Zeta super, yeah. What's going on, Utopia? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I assume maybe here you're trying to, like, so something, you notice a difference between you and this Vira here, right? I mean, it's counter hit, so they got like a better knockdown off of it, right? But like they get the 6xm, right? And they run in on you and take their turn. Now again, counter hit means hard knockdown, means even more plus frames, right? I feel like over here, you basically do the exact same thing to them, right? And yeah, they back tech. I feel like you could still like have at least, you could have done something to like try and keep your turn up here, right? In some way, shape, or form. You kind of, I mean, maybe you're worried about a DP, or I mean, they did DP you earlier, right? But yeah, instead you kind of like you walk up and you down back again. I assume trying to bait out a DP or something, and then you just lose a staring contest. If you're trying to play like it's kind of like I understand if you want to play like that more patient game, that's fair, right? Then don't do this, right? Don't walk up to them like that. If you're trying to like sit back and see what they're gonna do and wait for it, don't like walk up to them and just down back. And if you want to, you know, take a more aggressive route, try and take your advantage off that 6xm and go after them, right? Then don't do this, right? You kind of like went halvesies on this. You didn't really pick a strategy in neutral. And therefore, you just kind of ended up getting put in this, this weird, like, guessing game situation where both of you are staring at each other, and it's just whoever happens to hit a button first is going to win, right? Okay, sure. Decent check on the way in. Swinging. I mean, again, I think your basic idea here of, like, you're holding the space in neutral. I like it. But, I mean, like, from this distance, you got to be a little more careful, right? You basically, it was just kind of barely, I think you figured that maybe your far H, like the first time, obviously no, but right here, I think you maybe thought your far H was in reach. You're like, it is real close in your defense, right? But you did kind of just like essentially get, the Vira stood right outside of the range on your far H right there and then punished you for it. I mean, I'm not sure they did that intentionally, but that's kind of how it ended up working out, right? But again, even if it hasn't been executed in like the best way possible necessarily, I do like the idea of you as Zeta overall, you probably, like, your biggest button is bigger than Vira's biggest button, if in the very least, in the fact that it'll be true because you have, you got a goddamn fireball, right? And she only has Luminara, which is much slower on the draw. It's not going to win her any zoning wars usually, right? So, like, I do like the idea of just trying to, like, if you want to play the neutral of these characters, representing options, but you're being a little too risky with it, maybe, some slightly be a little bit more aware of what ranges you can actually hit people from, and what ranges is going to be swinging a big button with a lot of recovery. It's going to get you killed. From because that is unfortunately you're asking about playing neutral against very solid neutral characters, and that it's a tough question, right? It's a question that is, oh my god, gonna take a lot of finesse over time. Okay, you just ran up an SSBA, but they were command grabbing, so it worked. Sure, I mean, because we talk about unnecessary risks a lot of the time, and like and things like this. I don't know if this was necessarily an unnecessary risk, just in the sense that like you're really behind in this round, right? So taking some kind of risk to try and get your way back, I suppose, isn't a horrible idea. Is she dead here, by the way? But yeah, okay, but yeah, sure. But again, maybe there's like a slightly calmer way to go about this. At the same time, though, you were down in health, you were down in basically everything but that SSBA that you had right there. There's a world where you just say fuck it, we ball, and you go. I respect the idea. I think there's that's debatable more than anything, right? Again, especially if this is it's game one, like it's not like they have a lot of they've like you've done this 7 times before and it's getting predictable or something, right? I mean, so again, so far I don't like you're saying like these matches were horrible. I feel like I know you won that. Even if you hadn't won that though, I feel like this isn't. You're not getting like absolutely blown to pieces here, right? Okay, sure. Usually, okay, so yeah, I guess this is just more of a general thing. But usually, I mean, in clashes like this, if you're not gonna, if invincible reversals aside, supers and DPs and things like that, as soon as you react to the clash, just sticking out a throw is usually a pretty good idea, right? Because it'll beat every strike in the game because it's both faster and has priority. So like, the first one we didn't react. The second one, I'm pretty sure at this point that you're in a clash after the second hit right here. You just stick out a throw, right? If Vira does anything besides DP, it'll beat her. And if she DPs, I mean, sure, you have your own reversal too, right? In Rhapsody, but that's also a bit weird in how it works sometimes. As a baseline option, as a layer 1 option, throwing as soon as you realize you're in a clash is not a horrible idea, right? Yeah, you end up kind of... I assume this... I don't know if this roll was like a misinput or something, but I mean, you just put yourself in the corner with this, right? Even if you were just going to keep mashing on buttons, I definitely wouldn't have done that roll there, at the very least. Back throw, safe jump, good stuff. Seems you're aware of that. Solid. Okay. This is the hard knockdown setup that Zeta used to do. I'm not sure what she's got right now. That's the pre-patch hard knockdown. And that would also set up for her fuzzy. I know now it's she can get it meterless apparently, but it's very difficult to do with the new pogo stuff. Why'd you get hit here, by the way? Oh, okay, yeah, this double load you, and you stood up after the first one. Sure. Okay, sure. That's a bit of a funny trade, but it works out. I'd say okay. So I mean, in general, if you want to, I know that the spear I think is a little bit faster, but from that distance, not really, right? If you want to stick out an ultimate skill to sort of like assert your dominance in neutral, like I'm Zeta, I have meter, it's not hard just to make sure your jam lands on the last frame before you land. I've been told by Zetas that it's quite difficult, so I'll take their word for it. But okay, sure. But yeah, so what I was gonna say earlier is that you did the fireball earlier. I think I liked the idea of the fireball again, right? I'm not sure maybe if the fireball wouldn't give you reward from full screen. I can't remember if the wall bounce is weird or something. Like it's just a safer option, right? Again, with you being so far ahead in this round, right? It's like you have a brave point advantage, you have a big health lead, right? There is a world, right, where this Vira, which she does spot dodge this, actually could have punished you, I think, if she was a little bit quicker on the draw, right? There is a world where this Vira spot dodges this and damn near kills you for it, right? What's going on, Empress? Hello, hello. So, like, I would like the idea, I think, of just sticking out the fireball. You know, worst case, they spot dodge it, nothing really happens. It's just a safer option here, right? Zeta and Vira have small feet, you know, whatever you say, forgiven. So as just a safer option, because now the tables have turned, right? Raw use Spear sucks, yeah, it'll be pretty slow from pretty far away, right? I mean, even more so now, post-patch, it's also a lot more punishable on block, is my understanding. Well, was that only the air ones? I can't remember. But regardless, the fireball would have been a much more safe option there, right? Like before, you were down, so when you ran up an SSB8, I was like, oh, okay, fair enough, right? When you ran up an SSB8, so you were down like they had like twice as much or 3 times as much life as you, sure. Here you have a lead, right? So there's no need to take big risks like just spearing at them like that, right? Okay, sure. Far H. I mean, I like this idea. It worked better this time, right? They got their 6XM crushed, but I like you representing your big button and holding the space with it. Again, as like a layer 1 idea to try and contest the neutral against Vira. I like it a lot, right? Again, I'm a little bit I'm a little bit wondering where you feel like you've done horribly in this set, right? Because I know, listen, I know it's we're only halfway in, right? But you're saying I was really struggling with Zeta, and then when you said it was the Vira match, you said it's even worse. I feel like, and again, like your Zeta's in S1 in this replay. I mean, I'm sure you've gotten better since then, but like, I feel like you're doing pretty damn well here. No, I mean, yeah, that's punishable. That is, I think that's -8. That Rhapsody, this Rhapsody follow up, I think is -8. So when you're that close up, you're obviously it's gonna be pretty bad. But like it's been like little things for the most part, I think, right? Brick Yap session, yep. Oh my, what the hell? I guess that's because of the clash, right? Is why that worked that way? Yeah, it's because it clashed. So you just like you maintain when you clash with something, you get to maintain you get to cancel immediately, no matter what it was, right? You can cancel like supers out of a clash if 2 supers clash, right? But I guess because you canceled it, you still maintained the air momentum, so your JH got sent all the way over there. I mean, there's not really anything, educational here, I think. This is just funny. I mean, be careful, I suppose, when you clash with Rhapsody. Don't, keep this in mind. But this is a funny-ass edge case, certainly. You got great. I mean, it's unfortunate because it cornered you, but I don't think that's really your fault. I didn't know that worked that way either. Okay, so I believe gives you a safe jump. Yeah, nice. Actually, I guess I will say one thing now, because that Vira BCing you off reminded me of one thing. Have you BC'd at all this set? I actually can't remember. I mean, I'm gonna try and like go through and just like see points where you're not on 3 brave points anymore. You may have never BC'd this set. Did you lose one here? Yeah, you got Raging Strike. Yeah. I don't think you've BC'd yet, right? I mean, that's something, right? Like if you're finding these characters are getting in on you often, because it's it can be difficult. Like you're doing the right thing sometimes in neutral, where you're holding the space, you're representing options, right? You're not just letting them get on you for free. Sure, if you're trying to like keep them out with your big Zeta buttons and your fireball and your use skills and all that, right? But inevitably, neutral is a game of rock paper scissors, and a very complicated one at that. You're gonna lose every now and then, right? You're using a lot of parry. You're relying a lot on the parry. That's good, but brave counter is much safer, usually, right? And it's very strong, and this one is completely unchanged after it's completely unchanged post patch too, right? So I would definitely say the one like overarching thing so far is like definitely be brave counter and more, right? Is this the one where you got the Rhapsody clash? Yeah, I think so. It was like right around here, yeah, and then you got sent to hell. Yeah. So I just say like generally, certainly brave countering more is going to be a big deal for you. I think you've yet to use it a single time. Okay, sure, got thrown out of your parry. Just did it again. If you think it's strong, keep doing it, man. Don't. I mean, right there, you got your parry, you got your safe jump, and the Vira used brave counter to just take a turn back anyway, right? And you are not reaping these same benefits right now because you're being too precious with your BP. In fact, you're not even raging striking that often, right? It's kind of like most of the BP you've lost so far has been getting raging striked by the Vira. That's a bit of a dropped combo, sure. Ow. Yep. Understandable. Have a nice day. Okay. No anti-air there, unfortunate. You did get them earlier. So it's not like you're completely asleep at the wheel with the anti-air. So this can be a little bit tough sometimes. And I mean, you just kind of got, you both, like, I don't think that was even on reaction. Yeah. You just both had the thought to do an ultimate skill from that distance. They just happened to do it a little bit earlier than you did. That was just maybe, you both just went for it. And they were a frame, like 6 or 7 frames or something earlier than you were. Happens. I don't think that's a horrible thing. I mean, you could maybe argue that you shouldn't be doing the old skill. Also, did you use spear again? True. I mean, from that range, it is. It's at least closer. It's gonna be harder to react to. I guess does the U fireball has a heart box on it earlier, right? From like up close. I wonder if the U Fireball would have beaten the Stun Dipper RC right there. Maybe. It's a mid and minus on block, though. Yeah. Ow. I wish I could catch the beginning of these, because I can't do a Fundies log. It's okay, forgive it. I'm sure you can... It's only 7 minutes, right? So when I'm not yapping over it, I'm sure you can take a look at it at some point and make your Fundies log on your own time. Also, by the way, I've been kind of spaced out for a second. Why are you getting hit here? 6XM. Okay, you followed it up that time. That's good. Okay, just you whiffed your throw. Sure. I think you're just a little bit discombobulated. You whiffed the throw. They whiffed the DP. You didn't punish it. Sure. Fortnite, correct. Oh my lord. Understandable. Bit risky to just Arvis at them from that high up, right? Very reactable sort of thing. Guy with that command grab set up. I think here... I think you can probably mash here and be okay. But it might be a safer option to just, like, jump. Right? I don't think she'll recover out of the jump in time to punish you there. I'm always a little... I will say, the Vira... The certain different Vira Luminaire setups and how exactly they time out with command grab do confuse me a little bit still, I will say. But mashing or jumping or doing something there would have been a better idea. You probably just didn't react to the command grab at all, though, is my guess. Sure, MDP. What in the hell? You try to jump out here? This guy, you weren't even... Like, you were blocking low here, right? Yeah. I think you tried to jump on wake up or something and just got smacked out of it. Sure, understandable. A little bit of impatience there, wanted out. Oh yeah, I mean, that round overall is a bit scrambly, I think, and you kind of got lost in the sauce. Like, you whiffed your throw, they whiffed the DP, you missed the punish, they punished you, you did like a full screen Arves, like not even you Arves at them, right? I was just a bit too scrambly there. Owie. Okay. Once again, the parries. I mean, listen, you're finding good spots for the parries. I'm just thinking about, like, think about how many more of these sort of turnarounds you could get if you just brave countered. I like it. The 6XM, and yeah, I mean, I know you're trying to beta. So now seeing that you do follow it up sometimes. I assume this is you trying to beta DP. I mean, like, do you really care if they hit you with a DP in the mid screen here? Right? Like, it's not like you're not really losing that much. I understand that this Vira is relatively DP happy. Like, you basically just, like, give up your turn here, and then I assume that was a start with 2U, so I assume there's a misinput. You meant to 2H, but I'm not so certain you need to be respecting their DP all that much, because that is kind of like, you have to think the end goal of a DP is not really to get, like, it's, yes, obviously DPs are nice to get you out of bad situations, right? When you just, like, don't feel comfortable blocking, but, like, the mental end goal of a character with a DP is to get you to do exactly this, right? Which is, like, they don't even have to DP anymore. You just respect it and give up your turn for them. So now they don't even have to take the risk on, right? What was it? That 6XM? It was close. There you go. Yeah. Like, this is their end goal. Like, for the mind game of the DP, is that now I don't even have to take the risk of the DP. You just give up your turn respecting it. So, like, I would do my best to avoid this unless you were like, unless the person is either really, really DP happy, because Vira has not, like, they've been DPing a lot, right? Or if you're in a case where, like, getting hit by a DP will be much more detrimental. You know, like, it'll either kill you or you're in a really tight spot, or, like, you have them in the corner, you don't want to get them out of the corner, especially if it's a UDP, right? EX DPs don't really get them out of the corner often, right? But over-respecting the DP a little bit much, I'd say. And then here, you just got your Raging Strike spot dodge. I mean, this, fair enough. You're getting pushed out, sure. I mean, you found a gap there. Right? Oh, I didn't loop the Monster Hunter music, but we got Infinite Azure. Sure, that works for me. I don't mind that. I meant to loop the Monster Hunter music, but this works. Respect is the end goal of your pressure. That's why I emphasize making people respect you is the goal. Exactly. Yeah. So over respecting DP is the goal. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you found a good gap there on the Scarlet Oath. Just imagine if you had if you had just brave countered at some point during that really long ass block string, right? You could have found a way out much easier. A hard knockdown if you got a counter hit, too. Doom, doom. Boom, boom. Monha music gone. Yeah, it's, let me some Poke Village as much as the next guy, but Infinite Azure does go pretty hard as well. Okay, so what's happening? So this is where it feels like you're starting to feel a little bit, check out the 2M. That's another good button, by the way. If you're like feeling, if Far H is a little bit too risky for you, I do like this idea, right? Zeta 2M is pretty nice and beefy. Is this a throw? No, it's a start with the block animation, sure. You just mashed on plus frames here, right? I feel like you are just getting a little bit impatient as this is going on. Yeah, the Vira's +2 there. You just blocked her 6XL, right? There's no need. Like, mashing here is a really bad idea. Like, yeah, she's spaced out, sure. Like, it's not like she's right in your face, but I mean, Vira has good buttons just like you do. And if she's +2, from that distance, her buttons will beat yours. From every distance, her buttons will beat yours. I feel like you were playing this much better, and then you just kind of just got, you got a little too, as the Vira started taking it down versus you just kind of like, got less patient. You got a little bit less patient. You got a little bit more scrambly. You're just like you're mashing on plus frames. You're sticking out things in neutral, right? You're missing more throws, though, the spacing on the throws was a bit of a problem even at the beginning of the set. Okay, Pogo, sure. Again, you see the Vira completely taking your turn away with Brave Counter, which is certainly something that you could do as well. Okay. Viras do love their MDP. But see, I mean, even here, like, you got hit by that DP. I mean, that does, like, the Vira's MDP does leave you very close to, like, it is actually one of the worst DPs to get hit by, just because, like, look at that. Like, it gives her some really nice, a really nice situation after. But even here, I mean, if you have 3 Brave points and they have 1 Brave point, yes, you're really down on health, but you have a really big resource advantage here. You know, were you the type to Brave Counter more? You just Brave Counter exactly right here, right? Or, you know, even better on, like, a bigger button, like, oh, well, you didn't block that, fair enough. But I say, you would have had to Brave Counter earlier then. But yeah, you know, you Brave Counter after you get hit by that DP, and suddenly that all goes away, right? You can maybe tank 1 more of those, it might kill you, but regardless, that DP, her turn becomes your turn, and she's on 1 Brave point, she's taking more damage, and you just go right back into it, right? So, I will say, I think you were a little harsh on your, I was really, you're saying, again, you were saying you're struggling with this, and then when you said it was the Vira match, you said it's even worse, right? I was lost and can't figure out exactly what I was doing wrong, so any outside advice is still good to have. Yeah, I mean, I feel like this isn't like that bad, right? Again, like you gotta give yourself some grace for being in S1 here, right? Like, I'd say the main things are just, like, actually, funny enough, earlier on here, I think you were playing this pretty decently, right? I think you just got the main. I'm not going to get into another 50-minute rant about mental. We did that already with Azerzia's last time. What's going on, Leaf? A cool idea would be to VOD review a pro player to analyze what they're doing. Let's give a baseline for new players to what a good player mindset is. True, but I also think that if you VOD review like a really good player, a lot of the stuff they do outside of like combos is not really practically applicable for like most levels of play, Luca. Because like even like the mind game is completely different at that level, right? And the things you're expecting your opponent to do, and like I like it's a cool idea. We might do it at some point, but I'm not sure that's actually too valuable for like someone who's in like for someone who's in S1 like this, right? I don't think like you can watch Shosan to find tech, you know, or you can watch Elodius or something, right, to find Zeta tech, like, because it's really easy to see a pro, especially in Granblue where combo execution is quite easy. It's very easy to see a pro player do a combo and be like, oh, like mostly it's just you don't even know that move could do that. But once you see it, you can be like, oh, and you can like steal a setup or you can steal a combo or something. But as far as like the mindset and the way they're playing the game, I think that's more so useful at a higher level than this, right? I think like it's still a good idea, I think, but I think it's useful to a smaller slice of the player base than you might expect. Now, I could be wrong also. That's just my my current opinion on it. But anyways, the concept of risk reward is a little difficult in S+, since lots of people try to disrespect you. Well, it's more so different, right? Like what is likely to happen, and therefore what you base your risk reward around is different. Is what I would say. But regardless, I think you're a little harsh on yourself here. Again, I think this, like, it's the game you won, I understand, but also like this, you know, unsurprisingly, I think that in this first game you did a lot of stuff correctly, right? And even in the games that you lost, like you're not struggling in the neutral against these characters as much as you think you are, right? When you are calm and playing well, right? You're holding the space. I would say maybe do a little bit more 2M and a little bit less far H, right? It is a much easier button to get whiff punished on, like you did, right? Maybe be a little bit more careful about what ult skills you throw out and when, especially post-patch now with them, the reward on them being lower and some of them being riskier, right? But like, the basic idea of like, I have tools that hit you from very far away, I want to throw them out and make you respect them so you can't just run in on me in 6XM or 6XL or something. That's correct. Like, what you're doing there is right in the neutral versus these characters. Your offensive structures are good. There's a couple of combos you could definitely, like, you know, a more consistent anti-air combo. I think you dropped a couple of hit confirms. I think they were off of stray hits, like weird, like you interrupted M Scarlet Oath one time with a 5L and you like got like this airborne hit that you couldn't really convert off of it. I don't really think that's your fault either. I think like, you know, I think most of the time you got a hit on the on the Vira, you got good either corner carry or damage or both out of it. I don't think that's your problem either. I would say, like, in this first game, I have damn near no advice for you at all except Brave Counter, and I think the main and that is big advice, by the way. Like, that is a really, like, that is, it's 2 words, but it is really big advice, right? You don't Brave Counter at all, and Brave Counter is broken, right? It is designed to be, it's broken and it's designed to be that way, and it's designed to be broken. You could argue they went a little bit too far, but it's designed to be broken because it counterbalances how oppressive a lot of different offensive tools are in this game, right? If you don't Brave Counter, defense is just really, really hard in this game, as it turns out, right? So as even though it's a very short and simple and sweet piece of advice, brave counter at all, more and at all, because you didn't brave counter a single time in this whole set, I don't think. It's going to be really important. And you probably are doing it more at this point. Again, this is a month ago. I'm not sure how far you've come since then. But that's a big one. And honestly, the other one, again, we talked about it at length in the video with Zeta. So again, I'm going to try not to get into it too much, but I think you mostly just like, you made a couple of mistakes, right? There was like a DP punish you missed, you dropped a couple of combos, and the Vira got like a couple hits on you that maybe you thought that they shouldn't have gotten, or like, oh, that shouldn't have happened or whatever. And I feel like you started getting, you just like over the course of these 3 rounds or games, this is a degeneration of patience, right? Like you slowly started throwing out like more and more wild options, like throwing like when you're this far away from them, like there's no way the throw could ever hit, right? Throwing out bigger, like more punishable buttons, picking like doing like more U skills, more like raw U RVS in like places that wasn't really a good idea for it, right? Mashing on plus frames straight up, right? Like that one time that the Vira just 6XL'd you and you mashed on it, right? That in general, I would say is a little bit of just like a, you're losing and you don't want to be losing anymore, so you just like, fuck it, I'll just do everything, right, and have it work out. And there's a little bit of that in you like all the time. That shouldn't happen as a hazardous thought for real. Yeah, we talked about that at length with the Zeta replay. It's true. There's a little bit of goblin in you, even in your best times right here, right? For example, like this, you know, like this right here, right? There's a little bit of madman in you, even when you're playing patient and playing confidently, right? But that's okay. But when you're feeling, when things start, you know, going badly, I think that what the thing that makes you do that run up SSBA turns you into a pretty impatient player in general, I think, and that's where this Vira just started basically just getting free hits on you for doing nothing, right? They would just like do two Ls. You were crouch blocking the first one, you'd stand block the second one. They would 6XL and you would mash on their plus frames, right? They would be just like sitting there crouch blocking and you would jump at them with like the RVS, right? So like that's a big thing, I think, of just like, it's tough, but it's like, stay calm and try to keep a short memory when you make mistakes, right? Don't let like, oh man, like I shouldn't be here or whatever. Don't let that like torpedo your mental and turn you into a caveman, right? The other thing too, it's going on nothing, is it kind of compounds on itself. If you make one of those mistakes where you lose a turn because you missed a reset, or you dropped a combo, or you missed a punish or something, and now like they're taking a turn that they shouldn't have, right? BC them, right? You can BC. And then you take that turn back, right? It all compounds on itself. The only other thing I think I really noticed that was like very consistent that you were doing that I wasn't really a big fan of is this Vira did DP a lot. I'm not gonna lie to you, right? But even still, where exactly was that? It's gonna be hard to find now because I can't remember exactly if it was the second game or the third. I think it was probably the third game. Regardless, I was hung up on it for long enough that you guys probably remember. Yeah, I think it's this right here. Yeah. Right? This is not like, especially in the mid screen, especially this early on in the round, especially when it's not like you're gonna be like, you're not gonna die if this hits you, or like I have to kill them right now, or the round, you know, or I'm gonna die. You both have like 80% health. This right here is the end goal of them DPing so much, is to get it so they don't even have to take the risk of DPing anymore, and they can just like count on you to give up your turn for them. Right? Now, of course, they jumped here and you almost 2H, but you fat fingered it. You just got 2U instead. But still, this, you did, like, this was the worst case of it, but there were a lot of times in this set where I think you over-respected her DP a little bit. I'm not saying just always run into DPs all the time, right? But it's moderation, right? Just like how you want to represent the option that you're going to be, that you are occasionally, you know, sticking out buttons and holding space, you can also every now and then represent the option of, like, like, leaving gaps in your pressure, but then, like, you know, like, gaps that are long enough for them to do something and you block instead of trying to frame trap them or something, right? That is a better place, and maybe in S rank people won't even notice you're doing that, but like that's a better place to try and bait out people DPing, right? Is like a close L and then nothing for like just a little bit, and then like another close L, because a lot of the times people might not even be quite ready to take their turn back on that. And even if you're gonna do this, right, don't do it quite as often as you're gonna do, as you've been doing it, right? There's so many knockdowns, especially with that 6XM, where you got this and then you immediately just let them go, right? A general pattern of over-respecting DP a little bit, I think. Right? At the end of the day, it's not even if your worst case, if your nightmare comes true and you run up and you close L them, they DP you, nothing happens here. You just get sent back to round start, right? But yeah, I mean, again, this wasn't that bad, man. This really wasn't. I mean, I know. I spent 30 minutes talking about it, but that's par for the course for me, man. I spent like 55 minutes talking about a 2-minute replay, you know, like last week. So it's actually, if it's only 30 minutes for a 7-minute video, there's not that much that you did wrong here, I don't think. That's more, it reflects more on me than you. But What is Tuck saying here? I think the main thing is not taking advantage of the fact that Zeta's a living gun. He's got a good use. I mean, I wouldn't even say it wasn't. I wouldn't say it wasn't you not doing use skills enough. If you're gonna do a use skill, I would do Fireball over Arves, but dropped combos and opportunities. Drop 2. This Vira jumps you at 50 meters. Should be sniping out of the air for dummy damage. That's fair. Yeah, using Arves as an anti-air is definitely an interesting idea that you basically never tried, right? Overall impatience on defense, relying on counter DP to get them off you is a big thing. Yeah, so this is what I'm talking about mostly, right? I think you got like not impatience on defense, on offense, in offense doesn't really matter as much, but in defense and in neutral, right? Lots and lots of impatience, especially as the set went on. And again, yeah, I mean, this DP, this is a much higher risk option than just BC most of the time, right? Again, especially in S rank, where like people are not going to be necessarily trying quite as hard to bait your Brave counter until you get really belligerent with it, which is not your problem at all. Also, what's going on, man, amigo? So I've said it enough. I'm not gonna keep repeating myself over and over. It's fine. Okay, I get it. Yeah. But just to very quickly summarize: Brave counter more, don't over-respect DP, and try and stay patient even when things are going wrong. That one's hard because that one is like that's not like a technical thing. It's not a button you hit and it works, right? But like you have to figure out some way to work on your mental, so that you can. When like 1 or 2 mistakes happen in a match, it doesn't degenerate into you just like matching on plus frames and hitting random buttons in neutral, right? Because you have the right ideas, you just lose them as you start losing. Where does one post the replay to review? I have a Discord, !Discord in the chat if you'd like to join. And we have a channel here called GBSR Replay Review where you can go. Listen, as you can see, I spent a 7-minute replay. I spent 35 minutes talking about it. So I do have a bit of a backlog, but anything that's posted in here, I will get to eventually. It just might take a while. Okay, well. It's that one Yu-Gi-Oh card of the Desert Archetype. It's that one Yu-Gi-Oh card of the Desert Archetype. Is it Desert Archetype? No, don't worry about it. I don't know. If I play Voss, can I get you to review it? I don't know. I mean, I can get you can get some fundies from me, dog. I don't know anything about Voss. I'm trying to learn the character myself. Regardless, that is going to do it for this replay review, I think. Hopefully, some of y'all found this useful. Scar, maybe. Again, this is well, one of the funny things about me being a month late here is Scar is probably a lot better than he used to be. Maybe all of this advice doesn't mean anything to him anymore, and he's at a different stage of his game where he needs different advice. But if any of you are roughly in the same skill level, maybe some of this was useful for you. Oh, Madlock Hoot Cake. Yeah. So true. Regardless, that is going to do it. Hope you guys had a good time with the video. I know I sure did. As always, you know how it is. Any kind of like, subscribes, comments, bells, all that's greatly appreciated on this sort of thing. Helps out a lot. If you would like as well, I do stream every day from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern, except Fridays. So if you want to come by and hang out, I would appreciate it. And I think you'd have a good time too. Link in the description down there. I also have a Discord, like someone was asking about earlier. If you want to post your replays and eventually get them reviewed by me, but probably very much earlier, get them, commented on and reviewed by lots of other good players as well, then I would encourage you to join the Discord. Besides that, it's also a nice place to just learn about the fighting game. We got lots of players of all different skill levels. If you want training partners, mentors, if you just want to make friends, it's a good time. So I encourage you to do that. But if you do join, be nice, or I'll shoot you in the head in Minecraft. Again, link in the description down there. Most importantly, hope you had a great time hanging out today, as always. I know I sure did. These replay reviews are always fun. Having a lot of fun with Granblue. Gonna be a lot more coming your way, and until then, I will see you in the next one. Peace.